Welcome to the Bucket Sluice Highbanker. I'm going to tell you all about it. So we're here in Iowa, and I've seen so many YouTube videos of people using their Highbankers in Iowa. I got all excited. I built this Highbanker especially for this trip in Iowa. But you know what? I learned that you can't legally use a Highbanker in Iowa unless you're on private land. So if you go out and high bank on public land, you're risking the wrath of the DNR.
No guys, no glory!
But I'm no legal scholar. I'm just a YouTuber. And we all know YouTubers are full of crap.
That's kind of true.
You can tell me what you know about it in the comments. Now before we set up the Highbanker, we gotta make sure there's gold there. So I'm just walking out to the creek with my shovel and my pan. If we find gold, I'll go get all the Highbanking stuff. Now I'm here at this gravel bar. Now some of these gravel bars are so big that you can see them on aerial maps. If you can see it on an aerial map, you can use apps to look up the property owner and kind of find the phone numbers and ask for permission to be on the land. That's one way you can do it legally.
It's a good tip.
Yeah.
But just because it's a gravel bar doesn't mean there's gold. So let's start testing. You can see the tailings, it's mostly limestone, but there's a few pieces of igneous rock, and that's sign of glacial debris. There's some granite, that's chert, and there's little pieces of quartz. But is there gold? It's a little black sand. Nothing. Dang it.
I'm disappointed.
Well, that was just the first pan. I'll explore different parts of the gravel bar. There's another inside bend up there, so I'll just keep looking around. I'm sure we can find some gold. Well, so far no gold, but I did find some nice bryozoans. That's coral that you find in the limestone. It's a fossil. And these fossils are from a time when Iowa was the bottom of an ocean. Imagine that. Talk about sea level rise. So right here is actually an outside bend, but coming off that outside bend of the river, it kind of starts throwing rocks back up into a gravel bar, and these rocks are a lot bigger. So I'm going to try here and see if there's gold. There's one tiny piece. It's so tiny I don't even think the camera would be able to pick it up.
Did you even try?
But there's also two pieces of bird shot. So that tells me that this is a place that heavies are dropping out. Might be on the right track. I moved over a little bit, took another pan, and now we got a definite piece of gold in there. If you look right there, that is an unmistakable nice piece of gold. And there's some more pieces of lead in there too. So I'm not gonna find a lot of gold today, I know that, but I really wanna try that Highbanker. So I'm gonna go get it, we'll set it up.
Now I've seen everything.
Here it is, I built it all myself.
I can tell.
The only actual mining equipment that I bought here is the matting. Everything else is a self-fabrication. Here's how it works. Now this is just my regular river sluice. I didn't want to buy a whole expensive Highbanker, so I took PVC pipe with a lot of jointing and made a little bracket. These are just some T-joints. I cut some short pieces of PVC and another T-joint into a longer piece of PVC. The other side is similar. Short PVC, a T-joint, 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 and the leg. So this fits together like so. Another leg. And another leg. These can kick out, they're adjustable, so that can kind of adjust the height. And that sits there like this. Now my river sluice fits in there like so. Something like that. Now this is my bucket grizzly. I just cut a section of the bucket off and drilled a whole bunch of holes in the bottom. This little oven grate is like a kicker for the rocks to slide off. These holes should hold it. I'm going to show you something really scary. Now this is the most feared thing from the DNR of them all, a bilge pump. All throughout the Midwest, where there's almost zero gold, these things are illegal. You cannot use them to mine gold. Yet places that actually have abundant gold, you can go in the streams, use electronic equipment, but here in Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, they put so many restrictions on a place where there's almost no gold at all. Almost nobody does that, but yet they take away the fun. Just doesn't make sense. I'll get off my soapbox now. I've seen different forms of highbankers. One where all the cuttings just go off into the stream, and another one where they're all captured and the water is recirculated. I'm going to attempt the recirculation. This is more about experimentation than production. All right, we're all set up. Time to start running.
Feel good about it? Yeah, we're 100% ready to go. We're pushing a lot of water. Let's fire up some water. Bring it up slow. Really want to really blast that water in that hopper. Okay, bring it up to 1400. Put a lot of pressure on the manifolds, a lot of pressure on these hoses, a lot of things can go wrong. How are we looking up there?
Looking good over here, no leaks.
Looks good to me. I'd throw some dirt in it. First bucket, here we go.
Well, this doesn't work at all. Well, I've already run into a fatal flaw. I'm gonna need a lot better screening system because my holes are plugging up right away. And that's causing the water to shoot off instead of just the rock. Because the water's shooting off, I'm not keeping it in my recirculation tub. So this just isn't gonna work. That's very good to know. I can modify it for next time. Again, this is just trial and error. But for now, we're gonna kick the recirculation and just draw directly from the river.
Gotta make some adjustments.
In theory, this is a lot faster way to process material. I don't have to wash and classify it because that's all done in the grizzly here. I can just scoop it on and it goes down the sluice. If I put that bucket there, it'll tell me how fast it takes to run through a bucket of material. So this came apart. So one thing I'm thinking for sure, if I'm going to stick with the PVC, I need to drill little holes so I can lock this stuff together because it's too flimsy. Maybe make it adjustable, but I can't just leave it open like it is. It's quite tricky to keep this level. It keeps moving. All kinds of learning going on.
good. Son of a... That's not good, Wano.
What is happening? Oh no.
Head's gone.
Head's gone.
Yep.
It's not coming apart, it's just moving. I gotta pin it solid. Oh, it is coming apart. Right there. Okay. So I've only captured about a quarter bucket that's gone through the sluice. But being this is a good stopping point, I think I'm gonna check it and see how much gold we've recovered. Whoa. Okay, we'll do it that way. I'll make sure it's really clean. Now our first speck is still in the pan. I didn't take it out at all. So hopefully there'll be more than just that one. But that's a lot of material that was still in that sluice. Didn't really give it a chance to clean out with it falling over like that. Fair amount of black sand though, so it was definitely catching the heavies. All right, let's take a peek. So there's some pieces of lead shot. If I zoom in, you can see some more pieces of gold all along that edge. We've got our big flake, and it's capturing the tiniest of little flakes.
I'd rather find the fine gold. That proves that your recoveries are working really well when you have that super fine gold.
Yeah,
anybody can catch a nugget.
So it is capturing more gold. Now the fact that it is capturing those tiny little flour flakes, that's a good sign. I wish there were bigger flakes, but it is what it is. It's Iowa. It's glacial gold. But I'm happy to see any gold in the pan. So my biggest issue so far is stability. So I'm burying the legs into the ground, piling gravel around it. So hopefully that's a little more stable.
Yep, I worked all the kinks out. Solid as a rock.
All right, back to run and pay. I know this is a very crude setup. It's just a toy. I'm just a big kid playing in the dirt. I grew up playing in the dirt, and I'll always be playing in the dirt. And someday I'll end up buried in the dirt. I don't have to be pulling giant nuggets out of the ground. Just pretending is super fun for me. It's just a shame the DNR doesn't make it more accessible for people. I know, I'll get off the soapbox. So my grizzly fills up with gravel really quick, so the screening mechanism definitely needs work. The holes clog up, so I probably would have been better off drilling holes all the way up the length of the bucket, and then at least water would get down. There is black sand getting trapped in there, but when the holes are clogged, there's like not enough flow at all. And then when I clear it out, it all starts coming down all at once, all those clogged holes. And then there's a lot of flow, probably too much flow. My tailings are not all that clean, so I'm probably losing gold on the backwash too. There's some black sand getting left behind in my tailings. I should check that. Let's just see if I'm losing anything. Well, look at that. I lost a big old piece of gold right there.
There wasn't a tremendous amount of gold coming off, but enough to make a person nervous, right?
It's definitely a lot more stable now that I dug the legs in. So in that regard, it's actually working pretty well. The PVC stand is okay. The Grizzly, not so good. We need to improve that. That's why we're here. So gold is washing out of my tailings. Now I learned everything I know about prospecting flour gold from YouTube University. Mostly the Flour Gold Wizard. He says bubbles in your sluice is the enemy of flour gold because it can float on the flour gold and run right out of your sluice box. This is a really bubbly system. There's bubbles all over the place. So that might be why. I'm also running probably way too fast, but I've never done this before, so I'm just figuring it all out as I go. Every mistake I make makes me better the next time, if I let it. Now I've got a big tailings pile here, so I've run a fair amount of material. So I'm gonna check my sluice and see if there's anything still in it. Should slide out fairly easily. Ooh, more lead shot. At least it's capturing that. Oh, there's more gold. Yeah. So it's still catching gold. There's a couple specks there. A really small speck there. And I still see some specks in the black sand, but I'm not going to clean it out entirely out here. So it's a proven success. You can high bank with PVC pipe, a bucket, and a river sluice. I'm not saying it's the best, but it can be done. So now the question is it more effective than speed panning? In other words, is it worthwhile? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna classify a whole bucket of material the way I normally do, speed pan it down, and check how much gold is left behind there. If there's more, then maybe it's worth it not to use the Highbanker in the first place, or at least not this one. So I didn't time it, but it took me a whole lot longer to get a tailing pile that size than it did to get a tailing pile that size. And that's the point of the Highbanker. You can just chew through so much more material so much faster. But if it's not recovering the gold, it's not worth it. So let's speed pan that down and see what we got. Guess what I forgot again? My scooper. It's okay, I improvise. Isn't this something? We've mined in 5 states so far this year. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, North Dakota, and Iowa, all covered with glacial till, all having potential to find gold. We found gold in every state except North Dakota. But I know it's there too. Just gotta find the right spot. It's just amazing. 39 years old. I never knew that this was an option until this year. Now here I am mining all over the North Midwest. Pretty cool. And I sure do appreciate you guys coming along on these little adventures. Makes it more fun. So this is the last of that bucket. Let's compare it to our sluice run, Highbanker run. I see gold. Oh yeah, tiny little gold. So with speed panning, I got some nice flakes on the top side there. And then some more flakes on the edge there. So with speed panning, I have just as many specks, if not more, than running with the Highbanker. I think I need to call Freddie and Juan and have them look things over.
We're kind of trying to go over what it's going to take to fix your plant.
And we want to catch as much of it as we can in this little sluice box.
Might not be the best gold recovery, but I'm having fun playing with it. So I'm going to keep running with the Highbanker for a while. Look at all those bubbles. Try running it a little slower and see if that helps recovery. A little more of a gentle wash. I think this run's going a lot better. A lot fewer bubbles, a lot less chaotic, just looks better. Okay, so that was a lot gentler run. And that tailings pile is getting pretty big. I'm going to clean this one out and see how we did. It's real easy to wash everything off the top and this micro mat, but this bottom, it really hangs on to material. I guess that's a good thing. Got high hopes for this one.
He's got high hope.
All right. Oh, more lead. At least it's catching the lead. And more gold. So that run, it is catching gold. But honestly, I don't think as much as speed panning. That's kind of disappointing. Never gonna make my goal of 2,000 ounces at this rate. Definitely need Freddie and Juan's help. Is it the best Highbanker system? Absolutely not. Is it the cheapest? Probably. Probably the cheapest you'll ever be able to make. PVC pipe and a bucket, and the pump is like 15 bucks on Amazon. Battery though, that's expensive. There's one more thing I want to test with this thing before I go. I'm gonna take the bucket off and just use the stand. Now you see this river, it's moving at a pretty good clip, but the water's so deep, there's no place I could put a sluice. But if you put a stand in the river, sometimes people will use their sluice box that way. And I wonder if this will work as a stand. It's too light. Yeah, it's just gonna get pushed away. I'd have to have a way to anchor it down. If I had metal stakes, maybe it would hold it, like I could keep it in the ground, but it's not gonna work that way the way it is. Too light. And between the holes and where I was shoveling everything out, there's this little lip that's catching all this material. I'm gonna pan that out and see if there's anything that got captured in that. Really not a lot of black sand, so I don't think that was catching too many heavies. But let's see. There's two little microspecks. One little microspec. And another little microspec. A speck is a speck, no matter how small. I got a big tailings pile here. Am I gonna leave it? No. I'm gonna put it back and fill my hole. And now it looks like no one was here. Well, we got some very valuable knowledge today. Learned what works and what doesn't work. And we got some gold. Here's our concentrates. Let's take it home and weigh it up. And I learned I have a hole in my waders. Definitely need to learn how to pack this stuff in better. Yeah. 2 trips. All right, we're back at headquarters. We're gonna clean up the concentrates and see how much we got in this high banking endeavor. Just a little bit of material, so I'm just gonna classify it in my kitchen strainer here. I'm pretty sure there won't be any nuggets or pickers in there, but just take a quick look just in case. We'll just pan this down a little bit and then toss it back to reveal the gold. Well, we got a few specks. I knew we weren't gonna get a lot, and we sure didn't. It's still gold, just a little. And a little bit more for the vial. I'm gonna fill this someday. We sure didn't hit the mother lode, but it was more about testing out that Highbanker and just having some fun with it. That thing is just a toy for a big kid. I'm just a big kid. But even though we didn't get a lot, we learned an awful lot. So I'll be able to improve it and maybe make a more functional Highbanker in the future. Thanks for coming along. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.